Damon turned to look at Talia, who stood at the door of the bathroom, and his eyebrows rose in approval. That oversized tank top draped over Talia's frame, modestly covering her, yet hinting at the graceful contours beneath. The fabric dipped slightly at the neckline, revealing just a subtle glimpse of her collarbone, while its loose fit around her arms and the way it skimmed her thighs accentuated her delicate form. Damon swallowed hard as a fleeting memory of her silhouette crossed his mind, one he hadn't quite forgotten. Talia squirmed under Damon's gaze. Why did he gaze at her like she was... Talia nearly tugged the tank top to cover her legs more, so she just pressed her legs together and folded her arms over her stomach in a feeble attempt to cover herself. "Can I help you?" Damon tilted his head and smiled a little. "There's no need to be so cautious, wife. Do you remember me treating your injuries in the hotel room?" He emphasized the word almost. Talia exhaled helplessly. The playful Damon had arrived. She decided to get to the point because asking in a roundabout way would only give him more material to tease her. "Why are you here?" "I'm here to sleep." Damon's tone sounded like it was a totally normal thing. "I waited for you to finish your evening routine, my dear wife." He patted the bed next to him, obviously telling her to join him. Talia felt unsure. Last night was one thing, but now she wasn't properly dressed, and there was no need for him to comfort her. She didn't want to get used to sleeping with Damon because someone would see them, and then rumors would spread. Talia could imagine numerous she-wolves exploding in jealousy, and if blood were spilled over this, Talia felt confident it would be hers. Talia straightened her back and stood her ground. "That's my bed. You can't come here every night to sleep. It's not proper." Damon's brows furrowed a bit, and he scooted off the bed. "You're right." Talia pinched her arm to confirm she wasn't dreaming. Did it work? Was it that easy? He planned to leave? Her excitement deflated when she saw Damon stalking toward her. Damon stood half a step from Talia, and his piercing, icy blue eyes didn't allow her to look away. She realized she found herself in trouble. What kind of trouble? Talia remained unsure, but a storm brewed in Damon, and Talia felt the urgency to fix the situation. "I apologize. I didn't mean to disrespect you." No. There was no disrespect. Your argument is reasonable." "It is?" "It is," Damon confirmed. "It's not proper for me to come here every night and sleep in your bed." Talia realized that he only repeated her words, but why did they sound like they held a different meaning? Talia didn't have time to react when Damon scooped her into his arms. Before she could realize what was happening, Damon had walked out of her room and into his. "What are you doing?" Talia squeaked when Damon lowered her into his bed. "Since you don't approve of us sleeping in your bed, we will sleep in mine." He moved swiftly, and she had no chance of escaping his embrace or the comforter that covered them. Talia felt like laughing out loud. This did not represent what she meant. How did things end up this way? Talia realized where she erred. This wasn't playful Damon. This was the bossy one, and the bossy alpha wanted to cuddle. Talia took slow breaths to calm her raging emotions, but the silky bedsheets and Damon's scent flustered her. The fact that she wore scant clothing only made things worse. But Damon didn't move, and she reluctantly looked up at him. Talia felt surprised to see that his eyes remained closed, and his breathing slowed and evened. "Is he sleeping?" Talia wondered. "Is he drunk?" She waited for some time in silence before calling in a whisper, "Damon? Damon?" There came no response. She reached to touch his hair. It felt softer than she imagined it to be, and other than a small twitch when a strand of hair fell on his forehead, Damon didn't react. Talia moved a bit to check if she could escape his hold. Just as she feared, it proved hopeless. They both lay sideways, facing each other. Damon's arms encircled her, and his right leg draped over her as well. She was stuck. She closed her eyes and resigned herself to her fate. It seemed that she would sleep with Alpha Damon again, but this time in his room. She didn't hate it, but she regretted that she wouldn't be able to read the book that Dr. Travis gave her. On the bright side, Alpha Damon felt like a nice-smelling heater, firm and solid, and his proximity made her feel safe. She reminded herself that she shouldn't get used to this because Alpha Damon's mood fluctuated unpredictably. With those thoughts, Talia shifted as much as she could to get more comfortable. Talia slowly pushed her hand between his arm and his torso until her fingers reached his back. Once she settled her head on his arm and his breath fanned the top of her head, Talia realized that their position seemed way too intimate for two people who lacked a romantic relationship. But she understood that someone unpredictable like Alpha Damon probably had his own definition of what constituted normal. She told herself not to overthink it. It just involved sleeping next to each other and nothing more. After all, considering what Princess Marcy did with Damon, and he just left like it meant nothing, Talia could assume that this sleeping position for him represented a regular occurrence, like a handshake. Maybe Damon belonged to those people who couldn't sleep alone, and now that Casey had gone, he needed someone to hold. Casey had left the previous night, and that's when Alpha Damon came to Talia's room. Talia's heart cracked a bit at the thought that she represented Damon's bolster pillow in the absence of women that interested him, and she blamed herself for dejection that swelled in her because she allowed herself to get attached. Damon embodied an important existence in her life, yet for him, she remained easily replaceable. She confirmed that many women wanted to be with Damon, and Talia painfully understood that she didn't qualify. Talia let out a long breath. Did she want him to do more than just hold her? If he made a move, how would she react? Talia remained unsure about that. Talia suppressed any bold thoughts that formed, just like any other time when Damon showed kindness to her, because it would only lead to heartbreak. Talia smiled sadly at the thought of Alpha Damon breaking her heart, and he wouldn't even know about it. But even if he did, would he care? Probably not. Right now, she represented a pet project for him, and she shouldn't delude herself that it meant anything more than that, because soon he would find something or someone else to occupy him. For tonight, Talia decided to enjoy the comfort that came with Damon's embrace. Who knew? Maybe this represented her last chance to experience a man holding her. After all, there existed no guarantees that she would ever find a man who would fall in love with her. Talia buried her face in Damon's chest, allowing his scent of forest and dark chocolate to fill her up. Talia had no idea at what point it became her favorite scent, probably from before she met Alpha Damon, because she always loved the forest and dark chocolate. Those scents Talia associated with freedom and forbidden delicacy, and Damon's scent combined those two perfectly. Within a minute, all her anxiety dissolved into nothing, and she savored his warmth, firm hold, and there existed the sound of his heartbeat and his chest moving as he breathed, and Talia drifted off to sleep. Unaware of Talia's internal conflict, Damon counted Talia's slow breaths and waited for her to fall asleep. He felt pleased when her arm snaked under his to hold him. That signified progress. It tortured Damon to be a gentleman with Talia so close and scarcely dressed. Damon didn't want one night with Talia. He wanted a lifetime. He wanted to enjoy the sound of her voice and her intoxicating scent, and he could spend an eternity staring into her beautiful, honeyed eyes that hid a million secrets he had yet to unfold. Damon confirmed that Talia embodied intelligence, kindness, sharpness, adorable naivete, and belonged to him to hold and protect. Only his. He remembered Travis's words about increasing chances of awakening Talia's wolf if Talia's mate stayed with her. The closer, the better. Did this help her wolf heal? What would happen if her wolf awakened and Talia found out that Damon represented her mate? He had no way of predicting what her reaction would be, but he felt certain that Talia would feel the pull and she wouldn't think about leaving his side, and that should suffice. When he confirmed that Talia slept, Damon lowered his head and pressed a soft kiss on her forehead. Damon's body blazed as delightful sparks ignited all his nerve endings, and at the same time his heart rested at peace, knowing that Talia wouldn't go anywhere. For tonight, at least.
Wait, that's not the end. You've just had a free taste. Now get the full story on the Pocket FM app, link in description. Check out our next video and playlist, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.